Rise and shine, family. Check out this duality right here. Before I get started on the video, I wanted you guys to see this. As the sun is high in the sky, it is also down below. As above, so below. You guys can see the sun walking on water, right? See those big, beautiful lights? You can't even tell which one is which. You just know it's the sun. The one at the top is the sun, right? But they both seem to be putting out the same light. Wow. Who do you get a credit here to? The sun or the reflecting off the water? Because you have to be appreciative of the reflection, right? And the fact that the water is able to reflect that light back to you. It's beautiful. Anyway, family, I want to show you guys that you have everything that you need already deep inside of you. You just need but pull it out. And sometimes it takes effort for you to pull it out. And you'll notice that whenever you have your back against the wall, whenever you zone in, like when you get in that end zone, how artists say they're in a zone, there's some place inside that you're literally tapped in to what we would call the source, or at least it feels like the source, kind of feels like magic. And when you do that, outpours what was already within, right? From music to poetry to art to creations, right? Now, I want to show you guys this acorn. I'm out here in nature, family. I want you guys to see what I'm looking at. Isn't that beautiful? So I found a couple of acorns on the ground here. And as I began to look at these acorns, I began to think. Inside of this acorn is a tree. Wow, think about that. But if I were to break this acorn open right now, would I find a tree inside? The answer would have to be no. Because I would have broken it prematurely, right? But if I put this in the ground and give it time, it'll grow into a big, beautiful oak tree. And what's crazy is, while there's an oak tree inside, that oak tree already had thousands and thousands of acorns already inside of it. And inside of those acorns are even more trees. Isn't that crazy when you think about it? We always think about what's greater or what's higher, most high, right? What if it's in? What if it's not higher self, but inner self? Notice whenever you think about the greatness of a thing, you kind of get lost and you develop this sense of superiority, right? But the more you zoom in, the more you begin to take a microscope, you start finding that there are other things that are working to keep what you see as the larger picture alive. Take us, for instance. Inside of us, we have these little bitty cells. You can't even see them with your natural eye, but we need them, do we not? We don't create our own antibodies. We don't tell our blood to circulate. We don't tell our hearts to beat. It seems that the smaller it is, the more important it becomes. Right here is a forest. It's food. This acorn has nutrients. It can be used as food. It's very bitter though, because what it has in it is called tanning. It's kind of bitter. But again, if it grows to a tree, not only is it food, but if it grows into a tree, we can use the wood for firewood, of course, right? But with the ashes, we can make lye out of it, right? When you mix lard with that, you can make soap out of that. And with the bark from an oak tree, with the bark, see these trees around me? With the bark of an oak tree, you can make what they call tanning, right? Well, because it has tanning in it, you can use this to dye hides, right? Which is where they get the term tan your hide. This tree has all of that in it. And here's the thing, when you remove the bark, doesn't it grow back? It's like never ending, right? Well, we are the same way. When we have a baby, inside of that baby, it already has enough tools to create another child in time. It already has the creation ability or the creative ability buried inside of it. Just needs but to pull it out. So when you write that song, when you write that poem, when you draw that picture, when you create that invention, start that business, where did it come from? Outside of you or inside of you? Inside of you, right? I want to encourage you, family, to reach deep inside of yourself and pull those things outside of you. And don't be afraid to show them to the world. Because what may seem really, really small on the inside once you release it and allow it to grow, you may not even be able to fathom what you have inside of you. Because if you walked up 1,000 years later and you saw an oak tree, never in your life would you imagine it was in here at one point. Never in your life would you imagine that. You would have to see it over time, wouldn't you? This is how your gifts are. They may seem really small and you may be insecure about it. What if people don't like it? What if people don't think it's beautiful? So what? Allow your gift to grow. And as that oak tree grows, it's not strong as an oak tree. So as it starts to sprout, it's very vulnerable. So don't be ashamed if your gift doesn't look like what you think it should look like when you first start displaying it. Continue to work it. Continue to allow yourself to grow and watch what it turns into. And you'll see it will begin to yield fruit, just like that oak tree. You will see that people will begin to be fed off of what you do. That you doing what you're supposed to do will give other people life. Again, these are edible. Many animals and people can eat these. But again, if you crack it, you won't find a tree inside. Just like if you crack an egg, you won't find a bird inside. We always ask the question, what comes first, the bird or the egg, or the chicken or the egg? What if I told you they are one and the same? Isn't the chicken the egg? If you crack an egg, will you find a chicken? The egg becomes the chicken, does it not? They are one and the same. A spider and its web are one and the same. The web comes from the spider. The spider creates it. From inside, outpours, or outpours what was already within, right? You are your gifts. You are your writings. You are your poetry. You are your creation. Don't be afraid to be, family. I love you all. Be the evolution. Be the change that you want to see. And no candle loses its flame from lighting the other. And if you were to ever find yourself in the middle of chaos, it is in that chaos